Good morning, fellow Hoops fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV. As always, brought to you by our great friends over there at topsport.com.au. Now, we've been through, this is our 101st episode this season, but it also might be one of our last because these NBA finals are creeping, not even creeping. They seem to be coming to an end pretty quickly because these Boston Celtics are looking the goods. They've taken a 2-1 lead, and we've got our couple of basketball experts to talk all about it. We're going to start off with old mate BK from NBA Australia. My man, how you doing?
I'm good, my brother. Don't write the Warriors obituary just yet.
Listen, you know I picked the Warriors in 6, man. And look, I'm changing my prediction. I'm actually going Boston in 6. On the proviso that Golden State win tomorrow, because I think if Boston win tomorrow, it's a wrap in 5.
Yeah, and the other thing as well is the health of Steph Curry. He pulled up with a slight knock yesterday. He seems to be okay, but that's something that could severely swing the series in favor of the Celtics if he's not at 100%.
Yeah, I mean, he's been the best player. I think he's averaging 31 points per game, or something along those lines. Anyway. He's clearly been the best player, I think, from both teams on the floor. So if judging by the language that he used post game and what we heard from, Steph Curry, he was kind of saying that he'll be good to go, and it's a game 4 of an NBA finals, unless, they're amputating that leg, like Steph Curry's going to
strap
be playing.
It up, let's go.
Yeah, strap it up and let's go. Like this is what we've been playing for all season. So I definitely think he's going to play, but it's just a matter of how hampered will he be? Like, how severe is that, foot injury? I haven't seen anything this morning, BK, because apparently they were meant to do an MRI or something, I believe, during the day in America. So I haven't seen anything. Have you seen anything in regards to that?
No, I think it's still wait and see at this point. But I'm interested to see what the minutes total for Steph Curry looks like in Game 4. It almost feels like he just wants to be out there for all 48. And to be honest, I think the Warriors might need that.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was about to say the exact same thing. When Steph Curry is not on the floor, this team, what's the word that I'm looking for, BK? They're not good.
They really do lack that sort of secondary offense. When Curry comes out of the game, it's night and day. And just the pressure that he's putting the Celtics defense under, they kind of just get to exhale every time he goes to the bench. And we've seen them make those runs with Steph Curry off the floor. So I'm calling now 1 leg, 48 minutes, Game 4. Let's go.
But it's going to happen, BK. And look, this is another point I'm going to bring up that we've spoken about before in regards to Klay Thompson, because Klay is obviously not the player that he used to be. He's still a very good player, but he's not that player that he used to be. And now when he's not able to perform every single night, because I think he had 14 points Game 1, 13 points Game 2, had a bit of a breakout, yesterday, had 25 points, but I think he was on about 7 of 17 shooting. If he's not able to play in that sort of 22 to 28 point range, they really, really struggle. And they need other guys to step up, like a Jordan Poole or an Andrew Wiggins, and they haven't been able to do it. How much of that is the Boston Celtics defense causing this, and how much of it is it that maybe they're just not able to?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Klay was good in Game 3. I mean, he hit 5 threes, and really at this point, he's not beating guys off the dribble anymore. He's not really getting to the rim like that. But if he can just act as that release valve on the perimeter, because some of those threes that he was hitting were timely and much needed, and also just the spacing that affords the Golden State Warriors, it opens up so much more for them inside. And although that wasn't the case in Game 3, just given how much the Celtics dominated the paint, I think they outscored the Warriors 52-26, which really kind of just told the story of the game. They controlled the rebounds, they controlled the paint, but the Warriors are at their best when they are sort of playing that up-tempo pace and space, and to do that, they need Klay Thompson to knock down shots.
Absolutely. Now, on the Boston Celtics side of things, they're getting contributions from their guys. They actually moved to 6-0 now, BK, in bounce-back games. So in games following the loss, they're now 6-0 during these playoffs. They got 27 points from Jaylen Brown, 26 from Tatum, 24 from Marcus Smart. Al Horford chipped in with 11 points as well. So a couple of these guys that Draymond kind of wrote off after game one and said, they're not going to contribute again, basically. They're chipping in and they're playing their role now. And I think overall, top to bottom, the Celtics are a better team right now.
Yeah, Steph Curry may be the best player in this series, but we're seeing what kind of depth the Boston Celtics have. And even if you go down the line, I mean, to get 77 points out of that Brown, Tatum, Smart trio, you go down the line, Derek White, Al Horford, even Peyton Pritchard's coming into the game, hitting shots. Like, that was always going to be the case at home with the role players being a little bit more comfortable in the friendly rims. But then when you look down the Golden State Warriors, if their best players aren't all firing on all cylinders, and Draymond Green, as a prime example, even he said it. He did not play well yesterday. They really don't have a ton of options, and that was kind of always the Warriors' thing, was strength in numbers. They'd overwhelm you with these waves of talent, and that's not really the case. It's live and die by Steph at the moment.
We're going to get into Draymond Green in a little bit. I feel like this show is really turning into like game recaps and Draymond Green recaps.
That's why I love Draymond. He gives us endless content.
He's endless content. He's really providing us with a lot to talk about. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But now, BK, game 4 is now a must win for the Golden State Warriors, because you don't want to go back to the Bay Area 3-1 down. Obviously, we know that whole thing about no team, well, only one team's ever come back from 3-1 down. It happened to be against the Golden State Warriors. But if they go back to Golden State 3-1 down, I think this series is a wrap in 5. They're on the road this season in these playoffs. The Golden State Warriors are just 3-5, BK. So they don't even have a winning record on the road. One positive they can take out of this is that during the Steve Kerr era, they've won at least one road game in every series that they've played, which is actually pretty impressive. They're going to have to do it again, I feel, if they want this to be extended to 6 games.
Yeah, and look, I kind of thought that was going to be the case in Boston, was that, the Warriors would either get game 3 or game 4, and we're going back to the Bay tied up. I think this series could well go the distance, just given the flip-flop nature of things. Do the Warriors have another big third quarter run in them? Definitely. Like we saw that again in game 3, although the Celtics managed to hang on. The runs that we're kind of seeing in this series just doesn't make me want to write the Golden State Warriors off just yet. I think, if they go home split, all of a sudden you have a chance to go up 3-2. The Celtics probably look better right now, but I don't know, just what we've seen from the Celtics in the past in terms of giving up leads and not sort of putting their foot on the neck. I don't know. The Warriors aren't a team I'm ready to write off.
No, and that's why I said that if they win tomorrow, obviously the series will be extended. But, I feel like if Boston win tomorrow, they've got a bit of momentum now. They've got that sort of confidence of like, we can do this. And I think they sense that not a wounded animal in that regard, but they sense that this is not that Warriors team from years past. This is a Warriors team that is beatable. Like, there was a couple of those final series where the Warriors were unbeatable, like 2017, 2018, they were not losing those NBA championships. Yeah. So I think the Celtics sense that, and they might have a little bit more bounce about them now.
Hey, you only need 2 more wins. You just see the numbers there. It's 2 wins. Like that gives you confidence knowing that, you're halfway home to winning a championship. And I feel good about the Boston Celtics, but I don't know. I'm really enjoying just the ebbs and flows of this series. And a guy I wanted to talk about was Jason Tatum as well, because we saw him again going back to his playmaking. I think he had 9 assists yesterday. A stat for you: the Celtics are 18-2 when Tatum has at least 7 assists. And we saw them kind of go back to that drive and kick game. The pressure that the Golden State Warriors were kind of applying to him defensively. It took him a little while to get his offense going, but that to me is a sign of a player that, whether he wants to admit it or not, is in superstar territory. When one thing's not going, I can still impact the game this way. I can get my guys going, and then when the fourth quarter comes, I can hit those knockout shots. And Tatum kind of just goes under the radar sometimes when he has those games. But then you look up at the end of the game, the guy's got 27, 26, and 9 and 5, and I don't know. He's really impressed me in his first NBA Finals.
I actually made that point yesterday as well, BK. I did a radio hit and they asked me about that, and I said the exact same thing. And I actually even threw Jaylen Brown into that equation. I'm not saying Jaylen Brown is a superstar, but I just feel like both of these guys are at a level now where, like you said, if one thing's not working, they look to the other thing. All right, how else can I impact this team? How else can I impact this game? And I also feel that if one of them's generally not playing well, the other one is. Yesterday they both had a good game, 27 points, 26 points, respectively. But they understand each other very, very well now. And I want to make one final point on the Boston Celtics that just shows you that life isn't fair, BK, because Ime Udoka, right, who has done a fantastic job, we've admitted this, started out the season poorly. He's now 2 wins away from an NBA championship in his first NBA season, and he gets to go home to Nia Long every single night. Life is not fair.
Hey, life is good if you're Ime Udoka.
I'm not Ime Udoka though, so life is not fair.
That sucks for the rest of us.
All right, BK.
Shout out Denise.
Let's move on and talk a little bit about Draymond Green, because he's continually in the news. I guess probably because of his own doing. Had another podcast this morning, told the world basically that you're going to get these podcasts. I'm not stopping on doing these podcasts. But he's not playing very well either, BK. Quick little stat from yesterday's game, which I guess is not a so fun stat if you're Draymond Green. So there have been 2,553 instances of a player logging at least 34 minutes in an NBA Finals game. Only once has one of them fouled out with fewer than 5 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. And that one was Draymond Green yesterday in game 3. He had 5, 4, and 3. Fouled out by his own admission, and we're going to play the clip right now. He didn't play very well. This is what he had to say.
Marcus Thompson, the Athletic. Draymond, how do you feel you played?
Like shit.
What was the difference this game?
Just think I never found a rhythm. Really on both ends of the floor. So not enough force, but just got to find the rhythm quicker.
He played like shit, and he admitted it. Excuse me.
Hey, man, he's out there on his Tony Snell thing, just doing cardio. He was struggling out there yesterday. But look, Draymond did struggle in this game, but I have to give credit to the front line of the Boston Celtics. Robert Williams, I think despite all the other great performances from the Celtics, you felt everything that Robert Williams did in that game, whether it was the blocks, the alley-oops, the way he was contesting shots at the rim. This guy's on one leg, and he was just killing the Warriors inside. He was probably my MVP of that game, just in terms of the impact he had, because you couldn't do anything with this guy. Like, his size is just overwhelming for this Golden State Warriors team.
Facts. Like, I was watching him play, and I knew, look, I know that knee is not 100%, but I was also looking at it in some instances like, yo, my man, he's 100% right now.
If this isn't 100%, then I
don't know what is. Like, he was being the disruptor that Golden State needs Draymond to be, basically, right. And he's not able to be. They need Draymond to be that old Draymond, push the tempo, be a disruptor on the defensive end, be that linchpin. He hasn't been able to do that. Robert Williams has been able to do that. Shout out to the Time Lord.
And look, it's a different story on the road as well. We see Draymond and what he did in game 2. We've got short memories, just game to game. So it's a lot of pressure on him now, because we know he's going to play well in San Francisco, but that's what makes this game 4 so pivotal, because, Clay's not really all the way there. Jordan Poole, again, wasn't great yesterday. And then Draymond obviously had his struggles as well. So this really is, it almost feels like the next game could well decide the title.
I'm with you. I think it will. I think it will decide the title. I'm going to leave everyone with one quote on this Draymond Green thing that he also said. He admitted, I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I'm going on about my summer and we lost the NBA Finals because we couldn't meet force with force. That is my department. That's what he said. And like I said, he had another podcast. I saw it this morning when I woke up. And like I said, he basically said, you're going to get these podcasts. They're going to continue coming. I think I saw a stat. It was on Stat News, BK. You might have seen it as well. It said podcast appearances, 15. And I think points scored or something like that, no, personal fouls, 15 as well. So I think he's right there level with the podcast appearances and the personal fouls this final series.
The one that killed me was I saw he had a podcast rating of 4.8, which is more points than he's averaging on the killing this guy. But shout out to Draymond. This man gets out the shower after the game. Within 4 hours, that podcast is live. That is incredible content turnaround. Much respect.
Yeah, listen, people are criticizing. They're like, hey, this is affecting his NBA final, but how can it be like he's doing it post game? He's doing it after it's in his own spare time. So I think he's fine on that. He
needed to put the Nas ether beat behind that diatribe in that podcast. I'm Team Draymond.
I think he's got that in the clip, locked and loaded.
I think that just plays in his head 24/7.
In his post game press conferences, he's got that going in his head. All right, BK, we're going to let you go. We're going to catch you again on Monday morning. Before you go, hit us with your prediction for Game 4.
Warriors. We're going back square.
All right, we're going back square. All right, my man. Thank you very much. We'll see you Monday morning.
Appreciate you, brother.
All right, we're gonna bring on our resident betting expert, the Magic Man himself, Mr. Andrew Parkinson. Parky, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. And yeah, you guys are spot on. It's a pivotal Game 4 here because the Golden State Warriors don't want to go back to Chase Center in a 3-1 hole. And but if they win this Game 4, they've obviously got the home court advantage back, and it's 2-2. And they go back. So, yeah, a huge, huge game here.
Yeah, look, Parky, you heard what I said, at the start of the show. I said I think I've switched my pick to Celtics in 6 on the caveat that the Warriors win tomorrow. But look, anything could happen. I've been wrong on most of my picks this series anyway. So what do I know, huh, Parky?
Well, what about this? What about the Celtics in 5? The wild prediction that we've that we made before the series
you made
started.
That's all you. That credit goes to you.
Yeah, well, I did that as a wild prediction. I sort of talked myself into it a little bit, but yeah, no, I think that's paying. I think we're going to have a look at it a bit later. But
no, let's have a look at it now.
Oh, let's bring them up. The correct score. I think the favourite now is what you're saying is Boston in 6. Boston to win 4-2. I think that's a $3 favourite there if we can see that. And second favourite is Boston to win in 5 at $3.80. So that's come in from $10 down to $5.50, down to $3.80. The Warriors in 7, which was my original pick before the wild prediction, is at $4. But yeah, that's looking sort of less and less likely now, particularly with the one constant in the Warriors team, Steph, has got that injury. So it's all a bit of wait and see to see how Steph goes.
Yeah, and look, my pick, the Warriors in 6, has drifted out to $8.50, which rightly so, because I don't think the Warriors are going to win 3 in a row from here on out. I saw yesterday post-game, Klay Thompson said he's getting 2015 energy from this when they were down 2-1 and obviously went on to win the NBA title that year. But this is not that Warriors team. Klay's not that player he was in 2015. Draymond's not that player that he was in 2015. I think Steph's probably having his best finals ever so far. And they're not even going to get a chip for it. So, yeah.
No, isn't it ironic that everyone's talking going to this series that Steph hasn't won an NBA Finals MVP, and yeah, this is the team where obviously if the Golden State Warriors win, Steph's going to win the Finals MVP. We might as well flash up those odds as well because they've swung around a bit. With the Finals MVP race, because it was really only a 3-horse race, as you see there. It's still only really a 3-horse race with Curry, Tatum, and Brown, but they've switched again. Tatum's on top. Last time I looked, was $1.80 for the Finals MVP, and Steph's $2.90 now, and of course Brown after that pretty good Game 3, he's third favourite. He's come in to $4.20. I think he was only $8 before Game 3. So, yeah, if he has a couple more 17-point quarters and shows the consistency that he has, there could be a bit of value in that $4.20 now that we're looking at the Celtics as the most likely winner of the championship.
I'm with you, Parky. I think, look, if Jaylen Brown manages to have a couple of, these next 2 games, gets up there in that 25, 26-point range and is real sort of like a catalyst for the Celtics winning, that could be very good value there, right there for Jaylen Brown.
No, exactly. And we always talk about pivotal games. Now we're saying Game 4 is pivotal, but that Game 3 was pretty pivotal because going into it, the championship odds were a pick-em. They're $1.90 each. And if we look at them now, They've after just that one game, the Celtics have come right into $1.44. There we go, and the Warriors have drifted out to 280. So if you're a Warriors fan, or you think the Warriors are going to win this game 4, then that $2.80 is not a bad price. Because if obviously if the Warriors win this game 4 and they've got the home court advantage back, and you've got them going at $2.80. Yeah, you'd be looking pretty good, because I think if the Warriors do win this game, it's going to go back to that sort of $1.90, and you might even find the Warriors might even be shorter than that. So could be a bit of value in that $2.80 for the Warriors at the championship odds.
All right, let's take a look at today's odds, Parky, and tell us what you're seeing from this one here. We've got the Celtics. Tomorrow morning's odds, I should say. The Celtics favourites $1.56, Warriors $2.45 for this, like we said, pivotal game 4 back in Boston. The line's -4. Total there is 213.5. This was going to be live on ESPN. Parky, we both went the under for game 3, and that was pretty much blown out of the water halfway through the third quarter, wasn't it?
That was blown out. Look, I follow it pretty close to the under-over, particularly during when you've only got one game to cover. And I've been looking at the quarters. In that second quarter in game 3, there was 69 points scored. It was 34-35. And that just killed the under basically for the rest of the game. There's not too many 69-point quarters in NBA Finals games, and I really don't think we're going to see that again. Generally, at the markets at now, the 213.5, you can basically give up 53 points, 54 points a quarter. But yeah, a 69-point quarter is going to blow you out of the water. But I don't think that's going to happen in game 4. So I'm going to go again for the under. Look, the average, now that we've got a bit of a sample size, the first 3 games, the average points scored is right on 213. So I think this under-over, I think it's going to go under. We've gone over in game 1, under in game 2, over again in game 3. I think we're going to follow the same pattern. So I'm sticking with the under in this one.
All right, so you're sticking with the under. Who do you think is going to win game 4? If you follow that same pattern of one, the other, and I want to go Warriors.
And I want to go that way because initially I picked the Warriors to win in 7. And so if that's going to happen, the Warriors have to win this game. But with Steph, with this injury, look, he says he's going to play, and I have no doubt he's going to play. But how effective is he going to be? Yeah. And as I said, he's been their most consistent player. Even if he's off by 10%, that can... So anyway, to cut a long story short, I'm going with the Celtics -4, and that could even creep out a little bit more, I think, if people start getting a bit edgy. The gamblers starting to get a bit edgy about Steph's injury. If he's a bit proppy at shoot around or something like that, that 4 could drift out to 4.5 or 5. So no, I'm gonna go with the Celtics -4 in game 4.
All right, I'm going. Look. My head's telling me to go with the Celtics, right? But like you said, Buggy, I also picked the Warriors to win this thing. The stat that I read out earlier about them about having won a road game in every series that they've played under Steve Kerr, I think that is a factor. I think they're going to make some look. That health of Steph Curry, I would take 80% of Steph Curry versus 100% of most other players. So even if he is at only 75, 80%, I think he could be really effective. I think they're going to make the adjustments. I think Draymond's put it on himself to play better. I'm going to go the Warriors, Parky. I'm going to take the under, and I think the Warriors win. I think it'll be by less than double digits. I think it'll be closer. So I'm going to go Warriors by 7 and the under.
Okay, there you go.
How's that for a precise pick?
No, that's good. I like that. And I must say that I'm hoping I want this series to be extended. I want it to go out. So I wouldn't mind that myself. But no, I'm going to stay with the Celtics. I like the fact that we've got something a little different there, because that makes the texting during the game always a bit more fun as well. But I guess this is all on Steph. If Steph has a good game, and Clay seems to got his feet underneath him, and Draymond's not going to have another shocker. Wiggins has been pretty consistent. So look, it is possible for that. But no, I'm happy with my pick, the Celtics -4, and we'll. So you've got Warriors +4, so you've got a bit of breathing space there, so they can actually still lose by less than 4. So no, very good. Let's hope it's a good game.
Fingers crossed, because we definitely want to, one, keep seeing more basketball, and two, we want to do a couple more shows before we get out of here for this season.
Yeah. We're not done
Parky,
yet.
we're going to let you go, my man. We'll catch you again on Monday morning.
Okay, have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Likewise. All right, guys, this has been another episode of the Last Shot NBA show right here on Little Birdie TV, brought to you by our great friends over there at topsport.com.au. We're going to catch you guys Monday morning.